Love. After 60. 5. Foreplay moves most women skip. Have you ever been with an older man who you knew was attracted to you, who clearly wanted you, who touched you like he couldn't get enough? Yet, when things finally heated up, something in him didn't fully unlock. He was there. He was excited. He was into it, but he wasn't completely gone. Most women assume a man needs more intensity, more speed, more direct stimulation. But the truth is far more surprising and, honestly, a little bit heartbreaking, because the thing he's missing is usually the thing women skip without ever realizing how important it is. They need foreplay that doesn't just turn on their body. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Vernon again. In this video, I'm going to share 5 foreplay moves that most women overlook later in life, not because they don't care, but because no one ever explained how deeply men still need them. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future conversations about love, intimacy, and connection later in life. Now, let's begin with the first move, the one that quietly changes everything for a man after 60. Number 1. Slow him down emotionally before touching him physically. An older man doesn't become aroused simply because intimacy has started. His body needs time to arrive. One of the most overlooked foreplay moves is helping him transition out of his day, out of responsibility, tension, and mental noise before anything physical even begins. Many women move straight to touch, assuming men are always ready. But later in life, a man's nervous system often needs emotional slowing first. When you speak calmly, maintain eye contact, and allow a few quiet moments of connection, his body begins to settle. That settling is essential. Without it, his body may respond mechanically, but not fully. What this move really does is signal safety. It tells him there's no rush, no performance expected, no pressure to prove anything. When a man feels emotionally unhurried, his body becomes more receptive. Blood flow improves, sensation deepens, presence replaces effort. This kind of foreplay is easy to overlook because it's quiet and subtle. There's no obvious action, no clear signal that something is happening. Yet for men after 60, it forms the emotional groundwork that everything else depends on. Without this slowing down, intimacy can feel rushed, disconnected, or incomplete, even if there is physical closeness. When his mind has time to settle, his body naturally follows. Tension releases, awareness deepens, he becomes present rather than reactive. Feeling supported instead of hurried allows his body to respond with ease rather than effort. And that difference matters deeply later in life, when the body responds less to pressure and more to reassurance. This is what allows intimacy to feel whole rather than partial. He's not just physically involved, he's emotionally there as well. When that happens, closeness becomes something he can fully experience, grounded, relaxed, and genuinely connected, rather than something he has to push himself through. Once his mind has had time to settle, the focus naturally shifts to the next move, one that helps his body stay present and connected, rather than slipping back into tension or performance. Number 2. Make him feel emotionally desired before he feels physically wanted. Older men don't struggle with physical desire, they struggle with feeling wanted. One of the most common foreplay steps women skip is expressing desire in a way that reaches him emotionally, not just through touch. Compliments that focus only on his body or performance often miss the deeper need he's carrying at this stage of life. What works far more powerfully is letting him feel chosen. Simple words that acknowledge his presence, his steadiness, or the way he makes you feel can shift his entire internal state. When a man senses that intimacy isn't about expectation or obligation, but about genuine desire for him, his body relaxes and responds more fully. Psychologically, this matters because emotional desire reduces performance pressure. Instead of wondering whether he's doing enough or responding fast enough, he feels appreciated for who he is in the moment. That sense of being wanted, not required, allows arousal to build naturally rather than being forced. This kind of foreplay often goes unnoticed because it doesn't look like action, it looks like intention. There's nothing dramatic to point to, no obvious technique being used. Yet for men after 60, this emotional layer is what makes everything else work. Feeling emotionally desired calms the part of him that worries about timing, performance, or expectation. It reassures him that intimacy isn't a test he needs to pass. When a man knows he's wanted for who he is, his presence, his steadiness, the way he shows up, his body responds with less effort and more ease. Desire deepens because there's no pressure to prove anything. It can sustain itself because it's not being driven by anxiety or obligation. In that space, intimacy becomes something he can relax into rather than control. He doesn't have to manage his response or stay mentally alert. He can simply be present. And later in life, that sense of emotional permission is often what allows closeness to feel complete, satisfying, and genuinely connected. I'm curious, have you ever noticed how much more relaxed and responsive a man becomes when he feels genuinely wanted, not evaluated? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Sometimes, that reflection opens up a completely new understanding of intimacy later in life. With that sense of being wanted firmly in place, the dynamic shifts again toward another quieter move that helps him stay embodied and responsive rather than drifting back into thinking or self-monitoring. Number 3. Keep the pace unhurried so his body doesn't slip into performance. One of the quickest ways intimacy disconnects for a man is when the pace speeds up too soon. Even when desire is present, rushing pulls him back into his head, into timing, outcome, and self-monitoring. What he needs instead is permission to stay slow, long enough for his body to remain engaged rather than evaluated. This move is about protecting rhythm, gentle pauses, unforced transitions, allowing moments to linger without signaling that something needs to happen next. When the pace stays unhurried, his nervous system remains settled. Sensation deepens instead of fragmenting. He stays embodied, not task-focused. An unhurried pace quietly changes the entire experience for him. It removes the invisible countdown that many men feel, the sense that intimacy has a destination it needs to reach. Instead, it tells his body that the moment itself is complete and sufficient. Later in life, that message is deeply reassuring, because many men carry unspoken anxiety about expectations, timing, or outcomes. When there's no pressure to arrive anywhere, his nervous system stays calm, and calm allows responsiveness to build naturally. This steadiness helps arousal feel grounded rather than fragile. His body doesn't spike and fade. It settles into a rhythm that's sustainable, attentive, and present. Responsiveness becomes smoother because nothing is being forced forward. He stays connected to sensation instead of monitoring himself. This move is often skipped because it looks like doing less, but it's not passivity, it's deliberate restraint. It's choosing not to rush when you easily could. For men after 60, that restraint is what keeps intimacy human rather than mechanical. When nothing is being hurried along, he doesn't feel the need to perform or manage the experience. His body is free to respond on its own terms, and that freedom is what allows closeness to feel genuinely fulfilling rather than effortful, which we'll explore right this. Number 4. Stay emotionally present instead of trying to do something. Many women instinctively try to do more, touch more, speak more, move things forward, believing that action keeps intimacy alive. But for men later in life, too much doing can pull them back into effort and self-awareness. What helps most is presence without agenda, staying emotionally available, maintaining eye contact without expectation, letting silence exist without filling it. When he feels that you're not trying to guide the moment toward an outcome, his body relaxes into it. He doesn't feel managed or evaluated. He feels accompanied. Presence tells him he doesn't have to perform to keep you engaged. His attention drops from his head into his body. Sensation becomes richer because there's nothing competing with it. This is especially important later in life, when many men are sensitive to pressure, even subtle pressure. This move is often skipped because it looks quiet on the surface. It can feel like nothing is happening, but in reality, a great deal is happening internally. Choosing to stay emotionally present without guiding, correcting, or advancing the moment allows him to remain settled in his body. He doesn't feel led or tested. He feels accompanied. For men after 60, that emotional steadiness creates a powerful sense of being held from the inside, not physically restrained, but emotionally supported. In that state, there's no need to brace, manage, or anticipate. His nervous system stays open, and intimacy deepens on its own terms. Nothing needs to be pushed forward, because nothing feels stuck. If this part resonates with you, take a moment to like this video. It helps these conversations reach others who are learning how intimacy changes later in life. And from here, the final move comes into focus, the one that quietly determines whether intimacy feels complete or fades before it fully lands. Number 5. Let him feel complete, not rushed toward an outcome. For men later in life, pressure to arrive somewhere can quietly disconnect them from their body at the very moment closeness is meant to deepen. What he needs instead is the feeling that the experience is already whole, that nothing is missing, that there's no invisible finish line he's expected to cross. When a man senses that intimacy doesn't depend on reaching a specific result, his body stays relaxed and responsive. He isn't monitoring himself. He isn't trying to get it right. He's simply present. This sense of completion removes anxiety. It tells him that his experience matters as much as the outcome. And later in life, that reassurance is powerful. Without the pressure to perform or deliver, his body is far more likely to respond fully and naturally. This move is often skipped because it asks for patience and trust. Trust that intimacy has value even when it isn't being pushed toward a result. Many people have learned to measure closeness by outcomes, by what happens next, by whether something was achieved. But later in life, that mindset can quietly interrupt the very experience it's trying to complete. For men after 60, feeling complete in the moment is what allows intimacy to register fully in the body. When nothing is being demanded of him, no timing, no expectation, no silent pressure, his nervous system stays open instead of bracing. The experience doesn't feel like a test to pass or a task to finish. It feels like something he's allowed to inhabit. That's when intimacy settles rather than spikes and disappears. It stays with him because it wasn't rushed through. It leaves a sense of satisfaction that's emotional as much as physical. Not because something dramatic happened, but because nothing was forced. After 60, foreplay is no longer about doing more, it's about doing less with more awareness. The 5 moves we've explored aren't techniques to apply or steps to rush through. They're shifts in presence that help a man feel settled, wanted, and emotionally supported before anything physical is asked of him. What most women don't realize is that later in life, intimacy succeeds when pressure disappears, when his mind slows, when he feels chosen rather than evaluated, when the pace stays unhurried, when presence replaces performance, and when the moment is allowed to feel complete. His body responds with ease instead of effort. Connection deepens because nothing is being forced. This is why intimacy after 60 feels different. It doesn't build through urgency, it builds through trust. When closeness is allowed to settle rather than spike, it becomes something he can fully enter, not something he has to manage. If this conversation resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, share it with a friend, a partner, or someone you care about who might benefit from this perspective, and subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications so you won't miss our future videos. I'm Vernon. Thank you for watching my video till now, and see you next time.